What's good, YouTube? Aydian here. I wanted to make a little video. My cat is like, yes, Lucky. Yes, you want to be in the video? Look, there you go. Leave Daddy alone, okay? So I want to make a video. I was talking to some friends who do CrossFit, and I know a lot of actually trans people who do CrossFit, and I think a lot of them were pretty upset with how CrossFit was handling the transgender woman who was trying to compete. Now, I read about 2 articles / heard all the posts and the pictures and stuff. So, am I an expert on the subject? No. But I just want to talk about a little bit what we were talking about, me and my friends. We were having a conversation just pretty much, besides the reputation of CrossFit will have on transgender people and people who support transgender people, I feel like they kind of showed their ignorance, which ignorance doesn't always mean a really negative thing. It just means you don't know. Okay, there's things I'm ignorant about because I just don't know. So, when I say the word ignorance, it doesn't always mean, or ignorant doesn't always mean such a negative connotation. It just means they don't really know. So, when CrossFit is telling people, if you don't know, pretty much a trans woman wanted to compete in the CrossFit Games, they said she can't compete because she's transgender, and then they said, well, if you're going to compete, you have to compete with the gender you were born as, okay? So if she's a trans woman, she needs to compete with the men because she was born biologically a male. So, I have my issues on that alone, but putting that's the background of the story for whoever doesn't know. So, I really think it kind of almost helped the world see that, like, even if you're a big corporation or a big fitness place like CrossFit or anything really, even the government, all that stuff, you don't always know everything, okay? They don't understand what goes on in a transition, and I feel it wasn't very smart of them to go ahead and have interviews / put words out there without learning first. I feel like they should have put media on hold, talk to a few doctors about, the steps of a transition from male to female and from female to male, and then maybe should have made some statements, but they didn't do that. So they kind of are looking very ignorant, very uneducated about it. They're pretty much telling this woman who decided to transition when she was 16, who has been on hormones for, a large amount of years, has had surgeries and all the 9, they're pretty much telling her that she has to compete with men if she wants to compete. And in the future, if any other transgender people would like to compete, they have to compete with the gender that they were assigned at birth. So, the reputation and the ignorance kind of was one subject we were talking about. And then the other subject was, I would love to see a trans man try to play the same game and say, okay, well, if you're going to make me compete with the assigned at birth sex, then I'm going to compete with the women. I don't think that they would have such a easy time accepting that. Meanwhile, this would be the rule that they put in. They're pretty much saying that because I was born a female, I should compete with the females. Hey, that might even be better. Trans men, you might have a better chance at winning CrossFit Games if you have to compete with the women, right? Not saying, they're in separate categories for different reasons. So, and then I wonder if they would say, oh, well, they're taking testosterone, which could be considered a steroid, so now you can't compete at all because not only, you compete with the women, but now you're pretty much a woman taking steroids. So, you're not allowed in the games anymore because steroids are illegal. So does that mean trans men will never be able to compete in the CrossFit Games? They're pretty much saying that me as a trans man have the right to have a competition with a biological female, and I should be able to compete with her and win things facing her rather than facing the other men. I mean, think about it. How okay would the world be if me, as is, right, got into a fight with a girl? Well, I was born a female at birth, so I'm really just fighting my own sex. You know, the logic is just a little loopy there. And we were talking about how it just doesn't make any sense. It's so easy to say it about a male who's like, a born man who's like, oh, men are stronger than women, right? That's what they're trying to say. And, well, you're a man, you were born a man, even though you've been on hormones and all that stuff. They're not acknowledging what hormones do to your body and how they literally reshape your entire body. And pretty much your genetic makeup gets reshaped. They're not acknowledging that point. They're just saying you were born as a male, so you have to compete with the other men. So I think it's easy to say that, oh, well, women they're softer and not as strong, so you were a man, so you must still have strength in you, right? That it just doesn't make any sense. That's like me saying, like, oh, well, I should compete with the women because I was born a female and I don't have the biological genetic makeup of a man, so they have a little bit of an edge on me, so I should really be competing with the women. That doesn't make sense either. It doesn't make sense. So, although it's really unfortunate for all trans people, because I know a good amount of transgender individuals who are really into CrossFit, and I'm not sure how this is going to play out. I don't know if people really care or if the media is hyping things up like they love to do, but it's definitely something that I think has to be dealt with now, and if people are smart, other realms of fitness competitions will take this into play. Boxers and the UFC already kind of dealt with a little bit of it. Just other fitness competition sports. I hope that they take what happened in the UFC and what's happening now in CrossFit as an initiation to go ahead and change their own rules and incorporate transgender individuals. Because I don't know if anyone's noticed, but transgender people are coming out of the woodwork. I mean, they're really feeling and finding a platform to feel comfortable and live their life. I think it was a lot of gay and lesbian people were coming out of the woodwork, 10, 15 years ago. Well, now it's like the transgendered people transgendered, no, because I say that word and people are like, that's not a word. Whatever, it's trans people's time, and I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but we're not going anywhere. We're just getting bigger. We're gaining our rights, and it's just amazing me to think that maybe people think that it's just a wave and it'll be gone. We're here, and we're staying, and there's only going to be more, and eventually, just like now, probably everybody knows somebody who's gay, and on the other spectrum, unfortunately, I think of cancer too. Like, everybody knows somebody who has some form of cancer too. So, just like these other things that have come and haven't really left, I don't think trans people are going to come and then leave. So, heads up to anybody who is very sectioned with men and women to start incorporating those things into your playbook, pretty much. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen in sports soon. There's going to be trans people coming out in sports. I mean, maybe soon could be now to 10 years from now. But in the realm of the whole freaking universe, 10 years is not that very long. So this video was way longer than it meant to be. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm really curious how this is going to play out. And I don't think their logic was right. And I think with more education, and honestly, the media putting this, like, globe over them and making them pretty much make decisions, hopefully they'll get the right information and get the right people on board and make proper decisions. I don't know exactly what it should be. Should a pre-T trans person be competing with the men? If you're a FTM, I don't really know. There should probably be some, scientific reasoning to certain things, and we may not like exactly what they come up with, but they need to even the playing field for all people. If they're trying to make CrossFit a life-changing event that includes all people, then it really needs to include all people. All right, guys, that's it. Peace.